please, for the Pledge of Allegiance. Students? Thank you. And I'm going to ask for a moment of silence in memory of Edward Nardi, who passed away on February 23rd of this year. Ed was a graduate of Southington High School and taught at DePaulo until his retirement in 1995. He was also a basketball coach, first at DePaulo and then at Southington High School for 12 years. He was inducted into the Southington Sports Hall of Fame in 2011. A moment in his honor, please. Thank you. Okay. I am going to turn the meeting over now to Mr. Pepe because we have a celebration of excellence.
We do. Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm going to call up Principal of Kelly, Marilyn Call, and art teacher Mackenzie Cook. And they will do the honors of introducing our kids and describing their accomplishments.
Hi, everyone. Good evening. A very proud principal at Kelly School moment. For those of you who don't know, hundreds, if not thousands, of students every year across the state of Connecticut compete in the Fire Prevention Poster Contest. It's funded and supported by our local fire departments, and Rick Moeller is here, and he's been wonderful to work with, as well as the Connecticut Fair Plan. And our art teacher, Mackenzie Cook, has been a wonderful advocate for this throughout the year. And we actually have an incredible success story at Kelly School, never before achieved the way it has been this year. So our students create fire prevention posters, and those are judged at the 4th grade level and the 5th grade level for the town of Southington. We were incredibly proud this year to have 2 of our students, one 4th grader and one 5th grader, both win for the town of Southington. 4th grader was Alana Armack, and we'll call them up in a moment, and our 5th grader was Ashlyn Kosika, and their posters are on display for you on the board here. So once they win for the town of Southington, those posters are then taken by Mr. Mueller, and they are brought to Hartford County level, and they are judged against the town winners from all of the other towns within Hartford County. Amazingly this year, both Alana and Ashlyn have won the Fire Prevention Poster Contest for Hartford County. Both representing Kelly School. I don't think this has ever happened. However, we do have some really strong genetics going on here with both of these girls. Ashlyn actually won for Hartford County as a 4th grader last year, representing Kelly School. Her sister won for the state of Connecticut the poster contest several years ago. And interesting, Alana's aunt many years ago won for the town of Southington for her poster contest. So there's definitely some artistic genes going between these families. We are beyond proud of them, Mrs. Cook as well as I, Ms. Cook as well as I. We are excited to join Ashlyn and Alana and their families on April 11th with representatives from the Connecticut Fair Plan, Southington Fire Department, and other winners at a luncheon on April 11th, at which time the Connecticut State Poster Contest winner will be announced. Looking at their artwork, I can't imagine that one of them will not take this. Beyond proud as the principal of Kelly School, but of my 2 girls and my art teacher and their incredible artwork. Just so I would like to recognize Alana Armack for winning for both Southington and Hartford County as our 4th grade fire prevention poster contest winner. Alana, do you want to stand up?
Come on up.
Alana, come on over. We have Mrs. Clark, our Board of Ed chairperson, has a presentation for you.
I'm, as always, somebody who has this much artistic
too.
talent. Okay, you feel my pain.
I do.
I am in awe of what you have done. Absolutely amazing. And now at the state level, holy camole. So, fabulous, fabulous. So I would like to present this to you. It's a certificate of excellence to you, having duly qualified under the standards prescribed by the Southington Public Schools, you are hereby awarded the Certificate of Excellence for the 2024 Fire Prevention Poster Contest winner for the town of Southington and Hartford County. Whoa. In witness whereof, the seal of the Southington Board of Education, the signature of the Board of Education Chair, that's me, and the Superintendent of Schools, who unfortunately could not be here this evening, are hereunto affixed this 20th day of March, 2025. Congratulations. Well done, my dear. Well done.
And again, for our fifth grade winner, Ashlyn Koska, who also won for Hartford County, Southington and Hartford County last year as a fourth grader. She is back for, she's like the Yukon Huskies of fire prevention poster contests. So she's back for a repeat. So Ashlyn, come on up. We're excited to honor you.
And tell me you want to go to Yukon. You do? Fabulous. Amazing. 2 years in a row?
Yes.
Oh, my gosh. Oh, my gosh. Everything that Mrs. Call said, absolutely. We are so very proud of both of you. Just so you know, your community is proud of you. Regardless of what happens, the work that you've done to represent Kelly School, fabulous, fabulous. So, on that note, Ashlyn, I'm going to present you also with a Certificate of Excellence. You don't want me to read it all over again, do you? I didn't. I like honesty. Thank you, dear. So there you go. Congratulations and thank you. So, why don't you girls go over here? And duck. Carolyn, why don't you come on up? Okay. And Lauren's getting a picture because she's gonna put it on Southington Public Schools. Yeah. And a girl, you good? Okay. Awesome. You wanna take a 2-minute recess? Do one of them down and leave, so that's the art. 2 minutes. Okay.
It's like the same thing. Forget freshmen coming into college. We have 17, 18 years old playing against 22-year-olds, and they're like mopping the floor with them.
All right, we are going to bring the meeting back into order.
I agree.
Mrs. Call, get out while
They're
they're
my favorite.
Oops.
Everybody's talking about Auburn.
I'm seeing that. All right. Mr. Oshana.
Yes, Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion to move the out-of-state field trips, item 11A1 and 11A2, to 7E1 and 7E2.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, motion passes. Thank you. Looking for an approval of the minutes of our meeting of February 27th.
So moved.
Second?
The twins. Yeah, we got it. Okay. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, motion passes. Public communications from our student board reps.
Good evening, Board of Education. The Spring Fling is happening at Southington High School tomorrow, offering freshmen and sophomores a chance to enjoy school dance with a DJ, food, and entertainment. This environment fosters school spirit and provides younger students with a memorable social event. Junior prom is also fast approaching on April 5th at La Bella Vista and Waterbury. The junior class officers have been actively planning the event, and this year's theme will be Enchanted Garden. It promises an elegant and magical atmosphere. Our production of Cinderella was a tremendous success, raising lots of attention from students and community. The dedication of the cast and crew was evident in the high-quality performances, outstanding singing, and impressive set design. Their hard work showcased the strength of our school's performing arts program. Last week, the state conducted a review of our Ag Sci program, and the feedback was overwhelmingly positive. The review highlighted the program's strong structure and recognized the dedication of both students and staff. This achievement reflects the commitment to excellence within our academic programs. As you know, parking has always been an issue at Southington High School, as there are so many students, and as the year goes on, more people are getting licenses. Parking availability remains a concern at the high school at this time. While a limited number of parking passes are distributed at the start of the year, the demand increases as more students obtain licenses. This has led to unauthorized parking, congestion, and shortage of spots for staff. To address these challenges, we propose implementing a numbered parking system. We discussed this with Mr. Medancy at our CABE conference this past week, and it's something that we think that could be developed further to help reduce accidents and congestion in mornings and afternoons. Assigned spaces would improve organization, reduce confusion, and ensure students and staff had designated spots. The structure approach would enhance safety and efficiency for the school parking lot, and we hope you consider our option. And I'm going to pass it along to Ethan for our sports report.
For sports, the winter sports season wrapped up last weekend. 7 of the sports programs at the high school won their conference regular season and/or their postseason tournament championship. The girls basketball team won the CCC conference tournament championship at UHart and then finished as a CIAC Class LL state runner-up, playing Sacred Heart last Sunday at the state championship game at Mohegan Sun. In the championship game, senior Lily Cooper became the all-time leading scorer in the school's basketball history, and that includes girls and boys, with 1,344 career points.
That's great.
The wrestling team won the CCC West Division title with an undefeated regular season, and senior Andrew Mikos was the Class LL state champion in his weight class and finished 3rd at the state open. The boys basketball team won the CCC South Divisional Championship with an undefeated record. The boys and girls indoor track teams were the CCC South regular season divisional champs. The gymnastics teams won the CCC championship with an undefeated regular season and finished 2nd at the Class L championship meet, with individuals qualifying for the state open and the New England championships. And finally, the girls ice hockey team advanced to the semifinals of the state championship with another terrific season. And the spring sports are kicking off this Saturday, and we're looking towards another competitive and successful season. Thank you.
For the district report, we have Oceana held an annual Foxathon where 5th grade and 4th grade students danced with invited Yukon students in support of Yukon Huskython. 5th graders planned fundraisers and raised over $5,000 in support of Connecticut Children's Hospital. A group of Oceana students, parents, and our 5th grade teachers brought their donation to Yukon and were able to participate in their annual Hawksathon. Oceana Drama Club production of Frozen Jr. will be held on April 4th and 5th at Darrenowski Auditorium. For GFK, through GFK's weekly Flannel Fridays, fundraisers over $1,000 was raised in support of local Southington charities. This afternoon, the National Junior Honor Society sponsored an intergenerational dance for our local senior citizens. Members of the NJHS shared dance moves and laughs while creating happy memories for all who attended. For DePaulo, all DePaulo 8th grade students had a presentation today for Interact Theater where they learned about self-confident public speaking and working together as a team. The Kennedy and DePaulo Middle School Drama Club will present their yearly production, The Addams Family, on April 3rd, 4th, 5th, 10th, and 11th. All the performances are at 7 p.m. at Kennedy. The tickets are only $5 for students and $9 for adults and will be sold at the door, or you can get your tickets early by purchasing them in the main office at either school. There are over 120 middle school students involved in the cast and crew this year. I also just wanted to add that last week on Wednesday, we had the opportunity along with Mr. Medancy and Mrs. Clerk to attend the CABE Day on the Hill at the state capitol in Hartford. We had the opportunity to learn a lot about education policies and bills currently active in the General Assembly. We also had a chance to protest about funding public education. We learned about bills regarding funding for special education and how those resources are allocated, standardized testing, phones in school, and many others. We also had we also got the chance to talk with the representative Christopher Polis and gain insights into his day as a representative. One of, I think, the most impactful moments was speaking with Mr. Polis, and honestly, the environment as well. It really stood out to me. Being surrounded by so much passion and so much dedication with people who are truly committed to improving our education, that was very inspiring to see. Thank you.
Any questions of our students? Mr. O'Shana?
You mentioned the parking
Yes.
at the high school. So can you give us, you don't have to get too in-depth into it, but what proposal are you making?
So,
In terms of the numbering, how does that work?
we would propose assigning a number to each of the parking slots at the high school. This would not include the visitor spots, as those should not be parked in by staff or students. But that is also another issue. We have students kind of overflowing there, which takes away from the visitor spots. So we would assign numbers to each of the parking slots in Southington High School, and we would propose painting them on the ground so that it's public information. And when a student receives a parking pass, they would also receive what number their parking pass corresponds with. Staff would be assigned first in the staff section, and then students would flow from seniors to juniors, as works right now. Seniors park closest to the school usually, and then it kind of flows into juniors as you get away, and so that everybody kind of has their own space. So we would assign parking numbers, and then each student would have their designated parking spot that would be theirs and only theirs, so that no one would be fighting for parking spots, and there wouldn't be any ability for students who do not have a parking pass that are not authorized with the school to park.
So a couple of years ago, we added more spaces up there, right? So that didn't help, it sounds like.
So I think it did help, but the more parking spaces you add, the more advantageous students will get. So.
And as this year
people-
goes on, as you explained, as the year goes on, more
get-
students,
Get their license.
Yeah.
but they don't get a parking pass.
Yep.
They just get their license. So then they park at school.
What's happened is a lot of people are parking illegally in like spots that aren't even, they're just creating their own spots now, and that's leading to more issues.
Something I wanted to add was in the beginning of the year, it was not an issue at all. I had so much spaces to park. I have late arrival, so that means that my first period is not it's a free period. I can come into school late. And with late arrival, there used to be space at least at the last layer, so I would park there, but now I go into parking spaces, and even the last layer is all packed, and I'm like, what? What is this? That's insane.
Where do you go?
So I would have to park in a visitor spot where either the sidewalk, or I would have to park near the Annalee Street to just get a parking spot, and I would be late to school if, yeah.
All right. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Darrenowski?
You know me. Okay, we're going to be, I guess the plan would be to mark every parking spot with a number. Who would pay for that?
It's a wonderful question.
Like I said, I'm known for asking these wonderful questions.
And that was a great answer.
And that was
As we discussed with Mr. Vidanti last week, obviously this is not a formal proposal, nor is it a permanent solution, but this is just something that we thought we could bring to your attention so that it could be discussed, perhaps in executive session with those who have more information regarding the budget.
I like the idea. I really do. I think it's a great idea. We should have done this a long time ago. And
On the agenda.
and I don't think it would be an executive session discussion because it's not
It doesn't have to be.
contract or anything. But I
It sounded good, didn't it? That was a good answer.
Mr. Darrenowski.
I like her answer.
I was amazed at how she immediately put the problem right back there.
But I will say, if you go out to if you do this, if this gets approved and you go out to the community, I'm sure you will get volunteers. I'm sure you'll get people that will volunteer to bring stencils. I'm sure you'll get volunteers and students that would be willing to do
Yeah,
that.
do it. The thing is, you have to get up earlier. I don't want to sound like a mother and a grandmother, but that really is it, because you know what the traffic's like. So you have to get up a little bit earlier to get to school, to get a parking. That's the answer, I'm telling you, you know that,
That's the solution right now, yes. But when
you have students who are not following the rules, then it becomes sort of a safety issue, because with too many cars in the parking lot, you can't really know your way around it. It's a lot of honking.
Madam Chair, if there's any time in the future where we're going to name a committee, I would love to have her on that committee.
Yeah, I would.
Okay.
I'll take
We'll-
it.
We'll keep that in mind.
Yeah.
Thank you, students. All right, communications from board members. Oh, yeah.
On a lighter note, outside of the current parking debate, is there, I know that now that robotics season has officially begun, do we have an update on Team 195?
Yes, we do. Thank you so much for asking. So this past weekend, we went to the Waterbury District Qualifier, and no, we didn't. We went to the Western New England
Western New
Qualifier. I don't know.
Lauren,
Yes.
do you want to, not to steal the thunder, but do you want to wait until we do the video?
Actually, yeah, I did.
Okay.
Okay,
All right, so it's coming.
it's coming,
Okay.
it's coming. Okay. Does anyone else have anything?
No.
All right, I just have a couple of things. On March 12th, Mr. Brown, Mr. Medancy, and I had the privilege, and indeed it was a privilege, of presenting diplomas to two members of the class of 1967 who are now residents of the VA home in Rocky Hill. Both men enlisted in the Marines 10 days apart, and they did not know each other. They both went to Southington High School, both enlisted in the Marines. One of them explained, I lived on the other side of town. Okay.
So thanks.
But they didn't, but I'd like to I know, they didn't know each other. Now they do. But I'd like to thank Mr. Steve Pinterick and Mr. Steve McCarty of the American Legion, along with their fellow Legion members and the VA home, for having such a wonderful celebration. It really, really made everybody's day, and there wasn't a dry eye in the place. As you heard from our students, we traveled to the Hill, protesting. Yes, the kids were carrying a banner we were at the Armory to the Capitol, and they were carrying the CABE banner. So, can I just say how proud I was of the three of you? You were articulate, you answered questions, you asked good questions. It was just, I'm so proud of how you represented Southington, your high school, and your community. So, kudos to you guys. And now I want to show off the trophy from Mr. Pepe. You can turn around and look at it, because I know you wanted to win that last night. I just wanted to say publicly thank you to the SEF for sponsoring their annual trivia night, which I happen to be on the winning team, but I'm not bragging. Yes, thank you. Thank you so much. But many thanks for the SEF, because the work they do, and for the staff, for the students, they're just a wonderful organization, and we did have a lot of fun, even though I won. And lastly, the high school girls basketball team. I was at the game on Sunday at the Mohegan, and when Lily Cooper made the basket that put her over, the first person to stand up to applaud her was Val DiPaolo. She was the first person to get up, and people stood up to applaud. And it was a wonderful, wonderful night. Unfortunately, the girls lost. I would question some of the calls that were made, but that's just me. But it was a wonderful night, and the girls played their heart out. It was really, Mr. Risser, hats off, because the girls did a fabulous, fabulous job. And it was really, Southington was there in the house. So it was a wonderful night. Just wanted to share that. Okay, moving right along. Any other communications from board members? No? Okay. Administration, Mr. Pepe.
So we'll keep the good news going.
Okay.
Southington High School, DECA, hosted the 73rd Annual State Career Development Conference at the AquaTurf on March 3rd. 1,300 students attended, setting a record. It's been the largest ever. Our club was recognized for being the largest chapter in the state with 220 members. We also took home a variety of first, second, and third place finishes, and as usual, some of our kids will move forward to compete in the national conference in April. We'll keep you posted on that front. CEA is working with Southington Magazine to highlight teachers throughout the year. The features highlight the dedication of staff both in and out of the classroom, Eric Galviano, who's a fourth grade teacher at Flanders, was the first feature. And what I loved about the article, talked a lot about what he does within the classroom, but also how excited the kids are when they see him at their events on the weekends. The Tech Ed Advisory Committee met on March 13th. Special thanks to Vinnie Bartoletti for reviving this worthwhile gathering of educators, Board of Ed members, and local businesses. Additional thanks to Teresa Brooks for presenting the concept of work-based learning opportunities. The next meeting is scheduled for April 24th at 7:45, and it's again in the Corner Cafe. The Strategic Planning Committee met on March 12th and continued to synthesize the priorities as quantified by over 3,000 survey responses, which is comprised of employees, parents, residents, students, community leaders, and former students. Our goal is to bring forward to this board the first draft iteration on the April 10th meeting, synthesize your feedback, and then return it to you in May. The second session of the One Book, One Community series occurred on March 12th. We explored the shift from real world to online interactions and the impact of social media on self-esteem and mental health. The third and final evening is this upcoming Monday, March 24th. Board of Finance is on the 26th, 7 p.m. in the council chambers. The Michael Cassell basketball game is that afternoon, also the 26th. At DES at 3:30, Mr. Medancy is already bragging about the threes he's supposedly going to hit.
Gosh, I wish I could be there.
And we'll end with Lauren's going to go back up to the podium. I have to go log in. She could probably hack into my account to get it open.
Lauren, don't do it.
I don't know how to
But
do
as I
that.
go up, I just want to also reiterate what Lauren said about the Ag Sci review I was able to participate in. And at the end of the second day, we gathered back and they just gave us their impressions. And what just was the resounding theme over and over, I can't type and actually speak at the same time, was the feeling of family. They just said it over and over, how the students that flowed through love the teachers, they feel that it's a family, it's the place they want to be. To a person on the committee, they repeated that, so it was great to hear. Lauren? Sorry.
So as I began to say earlier, we competed at the Western New England district qualifier this past weekend, and this is our robot reveal, which was published prior to our competition. So this is a little sneak peek into what our robot looks like, and then I'll give you a summary of how we did at our competition.
$100,000 got me stepping up. Jagged pill I swallow, guess I got it stuck. Dancing with my shadow like I'm out of touch. Feeling alright, alright. What you got, 'cause I'm putting it all on the line. Nothing's gonna stop me tonight. What you got, yeah, I take it all at a time. I get knocked down and I get back up. I'm riding high, never sleeping, living for the weekend. Down when the going gets tough. I'm rising up from the deep end, living for the weekend. Living for the weekend. Turn up when I'm losing my glow. I'm not letting it go. I'm not letting it go. I get knocked down and I get back up. I'm riding high, never sleeping, living for the weekend. Down when the going gets tough. I'm rising up from the deep end, living for the weekend. Living for the weekend.
All right. Can you find your numbers? Okay.
So that was what our robot looks like going into Western New England. It's making me nervous. That was what we looked like going into Western New England, and we had a 16-2 record. We won 16 matches, lost 2 of them, which was kind of astounding considering our last competition, or our first competition last year, we did not do all too well. And we underwent a 9-day robot rebuild after. So going into our first competition and doing so well was a welcome surprise for us. And it is a testament to the hard work of our students and our mentors and the time spent in shop. We also came out with the Engineering Inspiration Award, which is one of the biggest awards in FIRST. That celebrates every aspect of our team, all the way from our robots to our team organization to our community outreach. That encompasses everything. So we were able to present for our Impact Award, which is a interview where 3 students go in, talk to the judges, present about our community outreach, and they're able to ask questions. There's also judges that come around to the pits during competition to ask further questions about our robot and team attributes. And all of those judges decided that we would serve as a good role model for other teams in our robot organization and our community outreach. We, by the end of the day Sunday, had won the whole competition, so that was really awesome. And we were able to take home that blue banner and medals. We had 2 great alliance partners. We were with Aces High, who is from Windsor Locks, Connecticut, as well as the Polybots, who were rookies last year, I believe. So that was really cool to have 2 teams that we were able to partner with and do so well with and succeed with. So it puts us at a really good start for our season, and we are very proud to say that we are going to the Hartford district qualifier, not this weekend, but next weekend. And then we have qualified to compete for the Engineering Inspiration Award at the district championship in April.
Awesome.
And we will keep you updated from there.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Yeah. Awesome. Yes.
So I actually watched a little bit of the competition, and it was awesome to watch. But another thing I got the pleasure of was I was able to go tour the Team 1.
Sorry.
You're interested.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
As Mr. Williams said, he did have a chance to come visit our shop. If anyone else would be interested in coming to see what we do in our shop or coming to any of our competitions, you are all more than welcome. I will send out an email to you all this week, and you can feel free to let me know if you're interested in what times and dates work for you.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
And just a real brief comment, kudos to the introduction hype video.
Yeah.
That was fantastic. I'm pretty sure there's some NCAA schools out there playing right now that could use your help. Because that got me fired up, and
We're all dancing up here. Okay. Mr. Pepe, was that it for your report?
Concludes the report. Thank
Okay.
you.
Any questions of Mr. Pepe? Okay. Communications from the public on agenda items only. Okay, seeing none. Item 7E, the trips that was moved from,
I'd like to move that the Board of Education approve the field trip requested as presented by the administration to Rouen, France.
Second?
okay. Any discussion? or questions? No? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. And the next one?
Move the Board of Education approve the field trip request as presented by the administration to Hangzhou, Shanghai, and Guilin, China.
Second?
Okay. Any questions or discussions?
I do have one question. So obviously, some of us travel a lot for work, and so we see a lot of times now, especially given the uncertainty and the climate with travel, we get, notifications from the State Department and what have you about concerns for travel abroad. So I'm just curious what steps we have in place in the event that there's any type of a security concern or what have you for the students.
Yeah, so.
Oh,
with
Miss Riccio just happens to be here.
Happens to be in the neighborhood.
So with every trip, regardless of where we go, every student has to buy cancel for any reason travel insurance. We just found a cheaper one. We always went through AIG, and we just found travel insured, which actually costs less and will reimburse them 75%. They're never going to get all their money back. It's a risk, right? And so we say that up front. But if we did have to pull the trip, and if the State Department pulls trips, a lot of times they can get all their money. Like with COVID, right? We had the trips in COVID. The kids got all their money back because that was an extreme situation. So if there is an extreme situation, they probably would. I wouldn't want to guarantee, but they probably would get all their money back like we did with COVID. But if the board just said, I don't know, I don't think so, they would at least get 75%.
Okay. Thank you.
Is there another question? I don't know.
Any other?
It was going to be basically the same thing. We happen to travel abroad, do a fair amount of travel. And I just got a notice sometime this week, specifically about China, that there's some issues that are going on there, not with the United States, but with Canada. And the United States is back in Canada, so there's a little uncertainty there. I just need to be prepared for that.
Yeah, I mean, I actually can't think of a trip where we haven't faced it. We were going to Rome in Italy, and Brussels got bombed, right? So we eliminated, what we did that trip was we eliminated Rome. Those kids landed, we got them on a bus, and we took them to a little town with 1,000 people, and they never saw Rome. But that's the way it goes, like we got them to a really safe place. They were able to go still, but we weren't going to hang out in Rome. It was way too dangerous. You don't know. So yeah, I mean, there's those options too. Sometimes they do have to miss something if that's where we're at.
Yeah. Well, I have a lot of faith in Mrs.
As do I.
Riccio and
Thank you.
As do I.
all the trips that she's planned and ran, so.
And it's a year out, so we have.
Yeah, we
things-
have time to.
We
Things
have time.
change, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay. So we have a motion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion's pass. Thank you for being here. Thank you. Okay. Next on the agenda are committee reports. We have curriculum and instruction.
Yeah, thank you,
Ms.
Madam
Williams.
Chair. The Curriculum and Instruction Committee met on Friday, March 14th. First curriculum that was presented was a revised curriculum for a high school course, Food and Nutrition. The course provides students with foundational understanding of basic nutrition, emphasized meal planning, snack selections for optimal health. The course addresses principles of health maintenance, food safety, and personal safety standards. After that, we were presented with the revised high school curriculum for Foundations of Art 1 and Foundations of Art 2. Foundations of Art 1 introduces students to the fundamentals of visual art, emphasizing the elements of principles of design as tools for communication. Key units will focus on observational perspective, rendering form, color mixing, and surface qualities. Foundations 2 builds on the concepts that were introduced in Foundations 1, continues to emphasize the elements of principles of design while expanding exploration into various media, processes, and techniques. Next, we were presented with a revised curriculum for the World Religions course at the high school. This course explores the history of core beliefs and global impact of 6 major religious traditions: Hinduism, Buddhism, Sikhism, Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. Through this study, students will gain a deeper understanding of how religious traditions have influenced world history and continue to shape societies today. Students will also explore the connection between religion, literature, history, art, and political dynamics. And then last, we were presented with a new course proposal for the high school's agricultural science department. The course is titled Advanced Outdoor Recreation. It's a semester-long exploration of the connection between outdoor activities and natural resource management in the United States. Through hands-on activities, field experiences, and guest speakers, students will learn about conservation principles, land and water stewardship, wildlife management, sustainability practices. The course also introduces career pathways in outdoor recreation, including park management, ecotourism, and natural resource conservation. And one thing I thought was important to also highlight was, if I'm not mistaken, this was, right now we currently offer 3 electives, and this would actually round out the the offerings for the students for, so that way they could actually have 2 full years of electives. So, and that was it for the committee meeting. If there's any questions?
Any questions? It was an excellent meeting. It's always fun
They're
to
always
hear,
great.
the enthusiasm of the teachers with these courses.
stuff.
Yeah, it's just it is wonderful, absolutely wonderful. All right, thank you, Mr. Williams. Finance Committee, Mr. Carson.
How come you guys get to have so much fun in committee meetings? That's what
Finance
I
is
want to
fun.
know. Yeah,
Finance isn't fun?
finance is fun, except when you get yelled at for spending money.
Yeah, well, hey,
Well, with that said, we met on Monday, March 17th, at 6 o'clock, here in the Municipal Center. I will discuss 4 items on our agenda and make some corresponding motions. The first item on our agenda was the removal of a dark room at the high school, room W284. And basically just a real brief history behind that is we no longer use that as a dark room. With the advent of digital photography, the need for a dark room is no longer there. And so we're removing that dark room as a one-time project through town funding to basically convert that dark room back into a usable classroom, which will allow for higher enrollment in those courses. All right, so I will move forward with a motion to move to award bid 2025-08 Southington High School room W284 dark room removal to Acorn Builders Incorporated from Vernon, Connecticut in the amount of $43,600.
Second?
any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Excellent. Moving on to item number 2. Very excited about this. The Ag-Sci barn facility, which we will be building on the site next to DePaulo Middle School. And this went out to bid. This is for the schematic design and actual materials to build that barn. If you remember, I believe last meeting we awarded the architectural and engineering bid for this barn. This is actually for the engineered stamped plans and material costs. And so with that said, I move to award bid 2025-006 Agricultural Science Barn Facility Design Specs and Material Costs to Barn Pros Nationwide Incorporated from Monroe, Washington in the amount of $180,645.
Second?
Any discussion? Mrs. Millett?
It is in the minutes, but I just want to point out that this project is being funded completely with the ASTE grant funds, and it's not part of our operating budget.
Okay.
Thank you, Ms. Mellett. And that's the Agri-Sci Technology Education Grant.
Okay. All right. Any questions? All those in favor? Aye. Okay, motion passes. And your last one?
All right, item
3?
Yeah, item number 3 is our Stellar Program lease proposal. All right, and the lease is currently up for our Stellar program, and actually, let me find my notes here real quick, really. And so we went out into the community to, and the committee discussed either renewing the current lease for the space at 35 North Main Street or finding a new space. And in our search, we actually came across a new space which will fit not only the program's needs better, but save the district a ton of money on an annual lease basis. It's a smaller space, but it does have the advantage of a storefront, which they don't currently have. And as I'm told by both Amy Oresco and Effie Cahill, who runs that program on site, that this is a huge advantage. So I'd like to move to approve rental for the Stellar program at 48 North Main Street in the amount of $34,800 annually plus utilities for a term up to 5 years with an option to renew.
Second?
Any discussion?
Yes.
Okay.
I think this is a great idea. It's a substantial savings annually. But I would like to know what the cost for the, the enhancements before we move forward. I want to make sure that we don't get blindsided with some structural
renovations.
issues and such in order to maintain the integrity of the program as well as the requirements that the town may have with the facility.
Sure, I can speak to that if that's okay.
Please.
Mr. Romano actually met Mrs. Oresco and Ms. Cahill over at the site today, and they walked it with the engineer. They're going to put a plan together, and they will bring it back to us. So we will report back to the committee before moving on, but we do want to indicate that there's interest for us to take the site so that the landlord knows that we're moving forward with it. So if you're asking to put the approval of the lease on hold until that happens, you could change the motion, so it's really up to the committee. But we are in the process of getting that information, and as we talked about in our meeting, our timeline would be to get the plans, move forward with what's needed, going through the proper purchasing procedures, and then hope to have the students in the new location by the beginning of this coming school year. So that's kind of our timing, but we just want to make sure that the committee is interested in us moving forward with finding out how much it's going to cost to modify the space.
Yeah, I'm in favor of this.
Okay,
I really want
okay.
it to go forward.
Yeah.
But since we've already paid through the end of the lease with the current
I thought
location.
we had no lease. Do we have a lease?
Right, we're paying monthly, so our
We don't
lease
have a lease.
did expire on December 31st.
Right.
And we are paying monthly, month to month right now with the current landlord. And then this rental wouldn't start until, we're still in those negotiations. We're talking about the terms and those kind of things. So we wouldn't be paying both locations at the same time.
But if we have a lease until December,
No, last December.
Yeah.
the
Last.
lease is up.
Right.
It's
We-
expired.
I was led to believe that it was.
No, this
No.
was the discussion that we had in our December Finance Committee, and the proposal that was presented at the time, the committee asked us to go back and look for different spaces.
I remember that, okay.
So it
Correct.
had expired, and I have had communications in January with the current landlord that the committee had requested more information, and that the price that was proposed by the landlord at the time, the current landlord, was not in line with what the finance committee
I remember that.
was approving.
we're good. I'm
So,
good.
You're
yes,
good?
we
Okay.
are month to month at this point, so there won't be any overlap.
Okay.
Any other questions?
No.
No? Oh, okay. Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, motion passes.
All right, and one final thing from our committee report, just an update on state special education funding, that the state legislature, most of us you've probably seen in the news, there was an additional $42 million allocated to education funding, and we're anticipating that our excess cost grant from the state, the legislature has approved those additional funds. So our excess cost grant is anticipated to be reimbursed at 75.8% rather than the 62% that we reported in January. And Ms. Mellett, if you have any updates on that you'd like to share.
Sure. The only caveat to that reimbursement rate would be the districts across the state filed their updated special education costs, which was due March 1st. So all of that information is now in their system. So depending on how those costs compared to the December 1st filing, if they're higher, then our percentage proportionately will be reduced across the state. The other thing I learned this morning, I attended a CASBO meeting virtually. The legislature, when they were passing it, indicated that they would be sending those funds out to the districts at the end of April. Now what we're being told is that those funds aren't going to come to us until late June. And so that obviously is a difficult concept. They haven't even locked in what our reimbursement is. So we're hoping that we will still get the remaining 25% of our 62% at the end of May, as we normally would, and that before that time they would cement, so to say, what our actual percent reimbursement will be and how much extra they're able to fund with those extra $40 million of funds. So we're hoping that June is not really going to happen. So if anybody has a friend in Hartford and they would like to encourage them to give the districts the money closer to April/May, that would be appreciated.
Right. So we're excited but apprehensive.
Excited to be apprehensive? Okay. Okay.
I mean, the difference would result in just over $600,000 to the district, so it's a big deal.
It is a
So
big deal.
stay tuned. And with that said, that concludes my Finance Committee report.
Any questions? Thank you, Mr. Carson. Okay, moving right along. Personnel report. Do I have a motion?
Madam Chair, I recommend that the Board of Education approve the personnel report as submitted by the Human Resource Department.
Second.
Any discussion?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, I know we were notified, but I'd like to acknowledge Mr. Reiser is here, and somewhat disappointed that I see his name on this report as looking to retire. I still think he's too young.
He's too young.
I don't think anybody likes the idea of Mr. Risser's name being on that
But
report.
anyway, I want to shout out to Mr. Reiser. He's done a fabulous job.
Yes, yes.
6 years that he's been here.
Yes.
And it's going to be a tough position to fill.
Yes.
Thank you, Steve.
Thanks, Steve.
Thank you, Steve.
Thank you, everybody. It's been a pleasure and an honor working with this board and everyone here in the Southern Public Schools. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Next item on the agenda, town government communications. Just so everyone can put it on their calendar, April 1st, DePaulo, 7 o'clock. Facilities.
AM?
No, not AM, sir, not AM. Mrs. Carmody might be up then, but not me. 7 PM, 7 PM.
Thank you, Mrs. Clark.
Well, you're up earlier than I
will
am.
certainly be there.
Okay. Yeah. To discuss elementary school facilities, Phase 1. Okay? Next item on the agenda, policies. We have a second reading for policies. Do you have them there? Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Move that the Board of Ed approve policy 1312, public complaints, as presented by the committee.
Second?
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye. Move that the Board of Ed approve policy 1316, relations between public and school personnel, as presented by the committee.
Second?
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Move that the board approve policy policy 6144, controversial issues, as presented by the committee.
Second?
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Move that the board approve policy 6146, graduation requirements, as presented by the committee.
Second?
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. All passed. Thank you. New business. We have a need of appointments for the AFSCME negotiating committee and the UPSU negotiating committee.
When? Timing?
Timing, details? Mr. Pepe, do we have any of that information as to when? I know we traditionally have had the UPSU negotiations in the afternoon.
Later,
Would-
though, right?
Late,
We've done those in the-
yeah, usually
after
3:30, 4 o'clock-ish. The custodial, I'm not as familiar with, so I don't know timing-wise. Okay.
UPSU?
UPSU? Okay.
I would be interested also, with the understanding that my travel schedule is not rock solid until the day before I leave.
Okay.
You know what that's
I
like?
know what that's like.
For the custodial or for the UPSU?
Either one.
Okay. Okay. How about both? How about both? I'm just throwing it out there.
Why not?
Okay. Okay. Because honestly, if we had 3 or 4 people on each one, it makes life a lot easier.
Yes.
Yeah, and so, you know, if
These
you're,
are all afternoon negotiations?
I believe they're going to be afternoon negotiations.
So you could put me down for afternoon.
Okay. Okay. Yeah,
Might
okay,
as well, yep.
okay,
Yes.
okay.
We'll make it.
And Mr. Brown generally does.
sure he
Ye-
will.
Yeah, I'm sure he will, and I'm going to do it as well, so we'll have, yeah, okay,
Have enough, yeah.
okay. Thank you all.
Always does, so.
Well, we just have to double, you know, I don't want to volunteer him without asking
I would.
first. Okay, so I can put Mr. Brown, we can put Mr. Brown down
Happens when you
because
don't
Mr.
show up.
Darrenowski said it was okay.
You get appointed.
You got appointed whether you snooze, you lose, what can I be doing?
Oh, we're going to
Okay.
use Mr. Brown and Mr. Bagzuski and the rest of
Yeah.
us.
Oh, yeah,
boy.
let's get him, let's get.
I love it.
I like that, I like that. Okay, next on the agenda is the healthy food certification and the food and beverage, which I have to find it. These have to be read,
They have to be what?
read,
Read into the record.
read into the record.
You want it?
They have to read them into the record.
Uh-huh, yes, you do, the
Madam
whole
Chair,
thing.
pursuant to the
Ask
Connecticut
Jasper,
General
you're a speed
Statutes,
reader.
Section 10-21-5F, the Southington Board of Education certifies that all food items offered for sale to students in the schools under its jurisdiction are not exempted from the Connecticut nutritional standards published by the Connecticut State Department of Education, will comply with the Connecticut nutritional standards during the period of July 1, 2025 through June 30th, 2026. This certification shall include all food offered for sale to students separately with reimbursable meals at all times and from all sources, including but not limited to school stores, vending machines, school cafeterias, culinary programs, and any fundraising activities on school premises sponsored by the school or non-school organizations and groups.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Okay, you want to do this, are you good? You're doing good.
The Southington Board of Education will allow the sale to students of food items that do not meet the Connecticut nutritional standards and beverages not listed in section 10-221Q of the Connecticut General Statute, provided that the following conditions are met. 1, the sale is in connection with an event occurring after the end of the regular school day or on the weekend. 2, the sale is at the location of the event. And 3, the food and beverage items are not sold from a vending machine or school store. An event is an occurrence that involves more than just a regularly scheduled practice, meeting, or extracurricular activity. For example, soccer games, school plays, and interscholastic debates are events, but soccer practice, play rehearsals, and debate team meetings are not. The regular school day is the period from midnight, which I didn't know we started at midnight, before to 30 minutes after the end of the official school day. And location means where the event is being held and must be the same place as the food and beverage sales.
Second.
Do you remember the year we didn't read that?
Mhm.
Yeah, okay.
Yep.
Yeah. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, motion,
Although I would miss I feel sorry for the kids, all the good stuff that we want, can't get. You know what I mean? Sad.
well, they say midnight because if you remember, the bagels in the morning, the
Yep.
bagels and the donuts.
And the
Yeah,
money we used to get from all that,
Sorry.
remember? Oh,
Yep.
Sorry.
okay.
well, that's too bad.
Any discussion? Sorry.
Hey, really, we used to make a
I know.
Okay.
You should talk, because you like all that junk.
Oh, I'm not
No,
even
but he
going,
does, I'm not one to eat all that junk.
not much. Okay, moving right along. We have the first reads on curriculum, food and nutrition, Foundations of Art 1, Foundations of Art 2, World Religions, Advanced Outdoor Recreation, which I'm all about the outdoor.
Awesome.
Can I say something?
Yes.
You know, I know we're all busy working and everything.
Some of us.
Why are you looking at me?
Some of us.
I would like to say, if you got or get a chance, read these curriculums.
Yeah.
They are so wonderful.
Yeah, they are.
They really
They
are.
are.
What the teachers do to prepare, you were there, Colin, you saw it, just dynamite stuff.
Yeah.
So if you get a chance, in a spare moment, please read it, okay? Promise me?
I read them all.
And if you have any questions, you can ask Jasper or Mrs. Sapone.
Just call me.
Yeah. Or Mrs. Carmody. Yes, Mr. Darrenowski.
Well, when I read through this.
Yeah.
Is this curriculum about teaching kids how to hike, camp, fishing, hunting, boating specifically?
It's part of it.
It's part of it, yeah.
As it's related to,
But it's more advanced than,
Mr. Darrenowski, but my middle son right now is studying in Northern State Vermont University. He's a senior. He will graduate with this degree. I wish he had this experience in
The
high school.
opportunity,
yeah.
Because the first 2 years of his college experience were not on this pathway. But we paid for him, and the credits didn't transfer. But he's going to end up with, he will leave with multiple certifications.
Yeah.
Doing what he loves.
okay, good.
Yeah, and just to highlight, right, I'll say it again, right, it was also, it's all about conservation principles, stewardship, wildlife management, sustainability practices. It's not just
I saw that part of it too, but
it's all there.
It's not about glamping, you know, it's not about glamping, which is about as close as I get to nature, coming from the
neat
Bronx.
stuff.
It was very,
It's
it
just
was
really
very
great
awesome.
stuff.
So like a lot of the new curriculum that's getting put into place, you need to read deeper than the title.
Correct.
Right? So like, you know, we got a lot of comment on the video game. That they're gonna be playing video games. Well, that's not the purpose. of this. So I think before people make comments on some of the curriculum, take the opportunity, right? Like you said, read it, because I think you're gonna see the depth that it goes to, that we're teaching skills that are needed in the workplace now across the curriculum. So I think that's fantastic, but I think, to your point, read them, because if you don't read them, you're not understanding. Don't just read the title, read the curriculum.
Because some of the titles are cute to get to grab attention.
Right.
But the depth, as you say, to which they go, that's the difference.
So
And
you should
people
be very,
don't,
very proud of the curriculum that it offers.
Absolutely.
And the depth of the curriculum that it
yes,
offers.
absolutely. Absolutely. But if you do have any questions regarding any of these new courses, you know who to
that's why I
contact.
brought it up. I read it. I just wanted to,
You wanted to know if it was glamping? No, it's not about glamping.
You're terrible, you know that, I just want to tell you that, that's okay.
Okay.
Cecil, call me.
I just can't picture Mrs. Carmody out
Cecil.
there hiking
What do
or
you mean, I can hike out
camping
there
or.
with
All
my
right.
walker. Hey,
The
Jay.
public needs to communicate. It's time for public communications, please spare me. Save me, not spare me, save
She's
me.
trying to shut me up is what she's doing.
Basically, yeah, but I'm trying to be polite about it. Is there any communication from the public? No? Okay, seeing none, Mr. Darrenowski?
Move to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you all.
Wow.